Moving on, now let's look at the relationship between India and Bangladesh. So, we studied this earlier in this chapter कि जब बांग्लादेश इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए लड़ रहा था, जब वो इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए प्रोटेस्ट कर रहा था, रिबेल कर रहा था, जब वो वेस्ट पाकिस्तान के डोमिनेंस से इतना ज्यादा फ्रस्ट्रेटेड हो गया था कि जो बांग्लादेश के जो बंगाली पॉपुलेशन है, when they rose to protest against the domination of the when their ethnicity and their culture was hurt, when those sentiments were hurt, and they moved to protest against the domination of West Pakistan over the governance of East Pakistan. So India at that point of time helped a lot. It helped these people of the Bengali culture by giving them refuge in the country, by helping them financially, by liberating Bangladesh in a way from the clutches of West Pakistan. And that was how the state of Bangladesh came to form. So अब देखते हैं कि इंडिया और बांग्लादेश के जो डिप्लोमेटिक रिलेशंस है वो कैसे हैं, और इन दोनों में अगर किसी चीज की डिस्प्यूट है, किसी भी इशू को लेके, या किसी भी इशू को लेके किसी तरह के कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स हैं, तो वो इश्यूज क्या क्या हैं, राइट? सो here I have listed the in segments I have listed the concerns of India regarding Bangladesh, or things that India doesn't like, things that Bangladesh does and India doesn't like. The concerns of Bangladesh, which is all about things about India that Bangladesh doesn't like, or policy decisions of India that Bangladesh doesn't like, and the areas of cooperation between the two, right? So and that just goes on to say ki even though there are conflicts between the two countries, even though there are certain areas where they do not really agree with each other, it doesn't mean that they have a bitter relationship. There's a spoiled, damaged relationship between the two countries. That's not what it means. So what it means is that even though there are areas where they don't always see eye to eye with each other, but still there are a lot of other issues in which both of the countries cooperate and come together so that something good comes out of it, right? So let's start from here. Concerns of India. The first thing is denial of illegal immigration. Now this is a really major thing when it comes to the diplomatic relations between India and Bangladesh, because like we talked about earlier, Bangladesh ki jab when the Bangladesh crisis was happening, so at that point of time a lot of people, a lot of Bengali people moved from Bangladesh, or as it was known as East Pakistan back then, to the Indian side of the border. They took refuge in Bengal. So many people took refuge in Bengal. So many moved to the northeast, and that's why the northeastern parts were flooded with refugees coming from Bangladesh or East Pakistan, erstwhile East Pakistan. So then later on, there were so many refugees that had come from this Pakistan side, or the East Pakistan area, and so many of them had settled in the northeastern parts that now so India had started facing a refugee problem because of this, and now the indigenous people of northeast had, especially Assam, these people wanted that there were so many refugees who had come and settled there. They wanted that all these immigrants, all these people who people who did not really have okay, fine, so they settled there, and once they get Indian citizenship, so now they become Indian citizens and they have the right to stay in that country and to work in that country. But those of them who just migrated and then who settled and did not have Indian citizenship, so the Assamese people started claiming that these people should be identified and they should be sent back to Bangladesh, right? Since the crisis has now been resolved, so now these people should be sent back to Bangladesh. They should be deported. So in the middle of this crisis, so India tried having confrontations with Bangladesh regarding this, and so this was one thing that India did not like, that Bangladesh denied any immigration that has happened back then, or that keeps happening now, right? So this denial of illegal immigration has been something that India did not like, because India faces a problem because of these immigrants. It faces a refugee crisis because of these immigrants, but Bangladesh refuses to help and refuses to cooperate by saying that there is no such thing as illegal immigration from our side. So whatever people go there, they get Indian citizenship and they work there, and that's not something that we can help you with. That's their choice. Besides that, there's no there's no immigration going on that's illegal in nature. So that's the one thing that concerns India and that Bangladesh doesn't like. The second thing is support for anti-Indian Islamic fundamentalist groups. So Islamic fundamentalist groups, so the ones that we're talking about here. So when these groups have anti-India slogans or anti-India campaigns, and when Bangladesh supports these groups, that is obviously not something that India likes. So India disapproves of Bangladesh supporting these anti-Indian groups, Islamic fundamentalist groups, right? So that is the second thing. The third thing is refusal to allow troops to move to northeast through its territory. Now, the northeastern part of our country is joined with India through a very narrow corridor, right? So it kind of remains, because there's this entire portion of Bangladesh curved out in middle, which used to which was previously called East Bengal, and which used to be very much a part of India, right? So now that it has become a separate country, it's very difficult to move to the northeast via the narrow corridor that is left in between. So when India seeks permission to move to the northeastern part of its country through the Bangladeshi territory, Bangladesh refuses to allow that, and that is also not something that India likes very much. So that is another thing that another concern that India has regarding Bangladesh, the fact that it doesn't allow its troops to move to the northeast through Bangladesh's territory. So moving on, the fourth thing is decision not to export natural gas. This is something that concerns both Bangladesh and India. So when Bangladesh refuses to export natural gas to India in quantities that India wants, so this is something that India doesn't like. But furthermore, it also doesn't allow Myanmar to do so. It doesn't allow Myanmar to do so through Bangladeshi territory, right? Through Bangladeshi territory. So India's need for natural gas isn't really met by Bangladesh, because it refuses to export natural gas to India. And so now India needs to acquire natural gas from somewhere, and when it tries to acquire it from Myanmar, even for Myanmar to export it to India, it needs to come through, because Bangladesh falls in between. It needs to come through the Bangladeshi territory, which would be more convenient, rather than taking a detour and exporting it through only Indian territories. So Bangladesh refuses Myanmar to cross its territory for exporting natural gas to India, and that is again something that India doesn't like. So these are the concerns of India enlisted, which regarding things that India doesn't like Bangladesh doing. Now moving on, even Bangladesh has certain concerns which are addressed regarding India, things that Bangladesh doesn't like or doesn't approve of. So the first thing is, India behaves like, this is something that Bangladesh claims, India behaves like a regional bully in water sharing disputes. So according to Bangladesh, when it comes to, water sharing disputes, Bangladesh thinks that India acts like a regional bully, meaning what? Meaning India जो है वो सारे वाटर शेयरिंग जो डिस्प्यूट्स है उनके जो डिसीजंस होते हैं उनको मैनिपुलेट कर लेता है। क्यों? क्योंकि इंडिया इज द इट्स द area wise it's the largest country that there is in South Asia, right? So somehow it is able to manipulate the decisions of these, or the conclusions of these disputes in its favor, and that is something that Bangladesh doesn't like or doesn't approve of. So Bangladesh calls it a regional bully when it comes to water sharing disputes. The second thing is encouraging rebellion in the Chittagong Hill Tracts. So Bangladesh alleges that India is responsible for encouraging rebellion in its in what falls under its territory. So that is another thing that that is not very approved by Bangladesh, because Bangladesh claims that it encourages these strikes, or it sparks these rebellions in the Chittagong Hill district. The third thing is trying to extract its natural gas. So Bangladesh doesn't really like the fact that okay, fine, so India wants natural gas, and it's quite obvious that it will, because any country would make its effort to extract these resources from anywhere that it is possible if it's a resource that is very much needed. So India, since it wants natural gas, it and Bangladesh is able to export it to other countries. India obviously tries to get its share of exports from Bangladesh, and Bangladesh doesn't want to export it to India. So again, Bangladesh doesn't like the fact that India keeps trying to extract its natural gas. The fourth thing is being unfair in trade. Now that is another thing that relates to because India is by area a very large and it's kind of very powerful and very influential in the South Asian region. So it kind of Bangladesh alleges that because of its influence in the South Asian region, because of its central location and its power and influence over the other countries which are very, very small, it exerts a kind of influence over trade, and it manipulates trade and in its favor, so that it is unfair to the other parties. So Bangladesh also alleges that India is unfair in its trade relations. So these are the concerns that Bangladesh has regarding India, right? So moving on, now let's look at the areas where they cooperate. So the first thing is areas of cooperation. The first thing is the economic relations have improved between the two countries. So by economic relations we mean basically trade relations. So trade relations have improved between the two countries in the last decade or so. The second thing is Bangladesh is a part of India's Look East policy to link up with Southeast Asia via Myanmar. So all the Southeast Asian countries that we had, that you probably read about when we studied the chapter Alternative Centers of Power, and where we discussed about the Southeast Asian region, whose economy when linked up together can give a clear competition to the growing US economy, or maybe let's not say it can be the largest economy, but still it gives a justifiable, it gives a credible competition to all the largest economies that act as dominant superpowers. So India wants to link up with these countries, and this link up comes under India's Look East policy, which because these are the Southeast Asian countries, and India is a South Asian country. So and it wants to link up with these countries through Myanmar. But then again, for India to do anything through Myanmar, Bangladesh will have to be involved, because that's the country that comes in between. India cannot look east without having to cross Bangladesh, right? So this is one thing where Bangladesh and India agree to work on together. So Bangladesh is a part of India's Look East policy to link up with Southeast Asia. SE here means Southeast Asia via Myanmar. The next two things that India and Bangladesh cooperate on are disaster management and environmental issues, right? So these are the areas where India and Bangladesh come together and they have friendly relations in, and these are the areas where there are disputes and there are concerns regarding one country or the other. Now, these are the concerns of India and these are the concerns of Bangladesh, but then there are a couple of things in which both the countries are involved and both have concerns with each other. So we call those common concerns. So let me list those down just so that if there's a question during the exam, so we can name them out. So the common concerns include the border dispute, which is quite disputed. So the boundaries shared by India and Bangladesh are are a topic of dispute between the two countries, which haven't been solved for a long time. So the border disputes. And the second thing is the water sharing dispute. So India and Bangladesh have also have disputes, like we saw how India and Pakistan have disputes in sharing river water of the river Indus, and that has been somehow solved by with the Indus water sharing treaty that was signed in 1960 with the help of the World Bank. But then here also in the eastern side, if we talk about, India and Bangladesh also have rivers that flow across two of them and two of those countries, and so there is a question about who gets to share how much of the water, and if any country tries to use up more of the water, then the other country obviously protests. So there's this water sharing dispute between between India and Bangladesh, and the two rivers that are involved are Ganga and Brahmaputra, right? So these two rivers somehow flow across both of those countries, and there's a dispute regarding who gets to share how much of the water, and obviously both of them want as much proportion of the water flowing across the state as much as they can, but then again, if one oversteps its limits, then the other starts protesting, and that's how it leads to a very disputed issue. So just so we can remember it very clearly, these are the concerns of India, these are the concerns of Bangladesh, and these are the common concerns that we have with the two countries, this one being something that haven't been solved for a long time, and these are the areas on which both the countries come together to cooperate.